What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a little more of an instructional video, and we're going to walk you through how to remove the engine on your Polaris Boost. And this is also going to apply to the Polaris 850 or a 9R, with the exception of a few parts, of course, around the turbo. But essentially this is going to guide you through pulling any Polaris Matryx engine. So let's dive right into it. So first things first, let's get these side panels and hood off. We're gonna go ahead and remove this console, the rest of the plastics. Now you can do this removal without it, but I like to just take the extra couple minutes, get this out of your way, and you're just working with a little more space. We've got a total of 6 Torx. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another 2 on this side. We've got 1 more Torx at the back of the seat here. Remove that Torx and we can remove the seat. Then we've just got a handful of plastic clips here to release the top. Now with the clips out, you can remove the little centerpiece, and then the plastics around the air intake just bend out and over. So before the console plastics come off, remove your gas cap, and there's a little plastic nut around the gas cap that we'll remove. And once that's removed, the little ignition console will just pop out. Unclip it from the back and completely remove it. Now with all of that removed, you can just pull these around the intake. This is gonna slide right off. Now the pull cord is gonna hold it in place, so what I do is just slowly pull it out as far as it'll go. Pull this all the way back. Just a couple wraps around the handlebar just to hold it, and then that'll keep your plastics hung out of the way, and you just gain a ton more access around the engine bay. Next step, you want to loosen off the intake boot of the turbo, unplug your ambient intake air sensor, and unplug the 2 bottom plugs of your ECU. Then this whole top intake box will come right off.
So we already got the clutches taken off. There's 2 clutches on a Polaris, good old P85, which is a little more straightforward, and the P22. The P22, just a couple of side notes here for you. You have to take the outside cover off. You can't just take the bolt out and get in there, because when you take the bolt out, there's no threads in here. You need to take this piece out, which is a bit of a struggle. It has an O-ring on it, but once you pull that out, then you can take the puller, and the threads are hidden here. Put your puller in, take it off.
Next, to remove the oil tank and clutch plate, you've got 2 10mm nuts on the end, and then 2 Torx here and here.
So one of the differences between the NA and the turbo model is the NA will have a single oil field line to 1 oil pump. Turbo has a second oil pump for the turbo. So you'll find 2 lines here. Either way, we just pull them out. It's a good idea to put a bolt or something in there so you don't get any dirt or anything in there. And then I like to cap off the tank because I kick it over on the floor and it spills everywhere.
Next up, we want to remove the airbox. So we're gonna go ahead and pull the charge tube off the airbox. Just a flat head there. We've got 3 clips here. Loosen the boots off and then pull the airbox back and out. With the spark plug caps undone and the boost pressure sensor unclipped, the airbox will come right out.
This is the power from the stator. You're gonna need to remove that.
Once in here, you're going to unplug all of your injectors. And one thing to note, all these plugs are specially mated to their counterparts, so you don't have to worry about keeping track of which is which. There's only one way they're gonna fit. So there's a V-band clamp on either throttle body, so you're gonna wanna loosen these bolts right off on either throat here, and further inside we can see there. Next is this 10mm to loosen off and remove the throttle cable from the throttle body. We've got 2 fuel connections, one on this end, one on that end. There's this one top coolant line you're gonna wanna separate from the head that goes to the throttle body. Once the throttle body is freed up, there's going to be a lower coolant line on the other side that you'll be able to access better now. Throttle body is out. And one thing to note on this 24, there are a number of zip ties from this holder inside here that will need to be cut to free up some of the harnesses. Might be slight differences, some earlier models, but just be aware that there might be a handful of zip ties to be cut. Moving over to the exhaust side now, we can go ahead and take the wastegate elbow off. Then we're gonna go ahead and take the muffler and the turbo out together. So on the back side of the turbo, we've got 2 coolant lines, and then we've also got this 1 oil line. If you follow the oil line back, there's just a little clamp connection there, and that oil feed line will just disconnect easily. Once those are out, this whole assembly can come out together. There'll also be the exhaust temperature sensor to pull out as well. Now with the wastegate elbow out of the way, we've got 4 springs to remove. Then this assembly will be ready to pull out. Now we can remove the pipe springs from the Y pipe. We've got 1 more sensor in the pipe, and then the pipe's ready to come out. Next, we're gonna remove the power valve cable. So it's a 17 mil nut. With the 17 mil nut all the way backed off. Now with the screwdriver, just pry the end of the cable off. Now we want to remove the power valve rack. So first we pulled this steering post bushing off. And now it is a 5mm Allen head to loosen off the bolts holding the power rack in. We've also got the det sensor on the top of the head, which is a 13mm nut. We went ahead and removed the rest of the steering assembly just to free this up, give us a little extra flexibility removing this power valve rack. Next step is the 6 Y-pipe manifold bolts. They are very tricky to get at, so a little universal bit might be your best friend here. Next will be to remove this lower hose clamp at the bottom of the engine block. And we're gonna remove this coolant hose. Now there's really no way of not making a mess with this one. If you guys have an idea, let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, get your bucket and your paper towel ready. There you have it, nice little coolant waterfall. Moving on to the motor mounts. You can just remove the bottom bolt and pull this little bracket with the motor, but down the road, having the motor on the bench, this creates a bit of a headache. So it is easiest to just pull this bracket right out off of the motor and the frame all at once. Our last motor mount here is a bit of a headache, so once again, a U-joint socket can really be your best friend. So now that we've got the motor free, we're able to move it just enough to be able to get to this bottom bolt in order to remove the recoil. Pulling the motor is gonna need a little bit of prying, a lot easier with 2 hands. One thing to be mindful of, you've got oil pumps underneath, 2 oil pumps on the boost. Be very careful where you're putting the pry bar and how much you're jerking around, because you do not want to damage anything here.
So I take the oil pump with the motor, we just got out of the way, gotta be a little bit careful, but this just goes in and it slides in and out. My hand's kind of in the way, but basically this thing here came out of there. I just pull open and it just twists out. And we took the electric pigtail off. Now all this will go out with the engine.
you have it. You've got the motor on the bench, free to do whatever you'd like to it, throwing an upshift big bore, or just giving it a look over and cleaning it up, throwing it back in. Pretty well just reverse all those steps to get it back in the sled. So thanks for tuning in. Let us know what you thought. Put the comments below. A huge thank you from Dean from Upshift for walking myself through this, walking us all through this, and now we put it back together and hit the mountain.